Good morning, third graders. Today we're on page 7 of your student journal. We're on page 7, and today's objective is, today I will represent various quadrilaterals based on their attributes. Okay, so I'll give you some time to copy that. So today I will represent various. Represent various means show different ones. So remember where there's 5 that we're trying to learn about. So we're going to be showing and learning about 5 quadrilaterals. And we're going to do this based on their attributes. Attributes are those characteristics or rules that they follow. So when I think of attributes, I think of characteristics, or I think of those rules that they follow. Okay, so let's look at our vocabulary. They're reminding us what congruent means. It means the same size of equal measure. So it's equal, but it's not numbers, it's shapes or sizes. Then we have a quadrilateral as a closed shape with 4 straight sides. And then they give us an example of not closed. And then they show us these little symbols to show equal sides. Okay, then here's our 5 that we're learning about. And here's all the attributes. Here's all the characteristics or rules that they follow. Now, yesterday I talked about this, but I didn't read this. A right angle is an angle bound by 2 lines perpendicular to each other, an angle of 90 degrees. So in your shape, I'm going to draw it larger, they put this little box. I always like to think that I could take a piece of paper and it will fit perfectly in there. That's what a 90-degree angle is. Some angles are bigger or larger than 90 degrees. Look what happens if I put my paper in there. Does it fit? No. Or some angles are smaller than 90 degrees. And so if I put my paper there, do you see how it doesn't fit in there? So 90 degrees is the paper fits perfectly. And then parallel lines we talked about, but I didn't read this. Parallel lines are 2 lines that do not meet. And when they say do not meet, they mean never will meet. Remember we said even if they go on and on, they'll never bump into each other. Okay, so friends, today you can use this to help you, but you could also flip back to that other page that we took notes on if you want to use that page to help you as well. Okay, I'm going to get started on my first problem. And my first problem says, circle all the shapes that could be called a rhombus. The most specific name for one of these shapes is a rhombus. Star that shape. Okay, so I'm going to do the first set of directions. Circle all the shapes that could be called a rhombus. Okay, so what do I know about a rhombus? I could use my notes to help me. I could use these to help me. I know it says a rhombus means all sides are congruent. All sides are equal. That's number 1. All sides are equal. Does this A look like all sides are equal? It does. So far that's still good. B, I'm not sure. So remember I said you could get a little piece of paper if you don't have a ruler, and you could say, okay, that side is that long. How long is that side? Oh, that looks the same. Oh, they do look the same. So this has all of them equal. This one I don't even need a measure, friends. Look at how short this side is and how long that is. So that's definitely not a rhombus. What else does a rhombus need to have? If I look at my notes, it says both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. So is this parallel to that? Yep, those will never meet. Is this parallel to that? Yep. Is this parallel? Yes. And this is parallel. Okay, and what is the last rule it says? It says opposite angles are equal. So is this angle equal to that? The opposite? Yes. Are those equal? Yes. This angle is equal to that, it looks like, and this one looks equal to that. So I think both of these could be called a rhombus. But then it says the most specific name for one of these shape is a rhombus. Star that shape. Well, I'm going to say it's this one because the most specific name for it would be a square. That's the better name for it. So this would be called a rhombus. Okay, let's look at my next one. It says, draw a quadrilateral with 4 right angles. List at least 2 other attributes. So which quadrilaterals have right angles? Aren't there only 2 of them, friends? Only a rectangle or a square. That's it. Those are the only 2. So it just says I can choose whichever one I want to draw. I'm going to draw a rectangle. So rectangles have 4 right angles. But then they say list at least 2 other attributes. What are 2 things that this follows? Well, isn't this side congruent to that side? And isn't this side congruent to that side? They are, and remember congruent means equal. So I can say 2 pairs of congruent sides. What else can I say? Aren't these sides parallel and those sides parallel? Yep, so I can say 2 pairs of parallel sides. Let's try some of these together, friends. We are on page 8. We are on page 8, and here's our problem. It says, circle all the shapes that could be called a trapezoid. The most specific name for one of these shapes is a trapezoid. Star that shape. Okay, so you can use your rules if you need to. If you don't know what the rules of a trapezoid are, you can look here and look them up. I know that a trapezoid's rule is you have to have at least 1 pair of parallel sides. So does this shape have 1 pair of parallel sides? Yes, those will never touch. Does this shape have 1 pair of parallel sides? Yes. And does this shape have at least 1 pair of parallel sides? Yes. So all of those shapes followed the rule to be called a trapezoid. But then they said the most specific name for one of these is a trapezoid. Well, what's the most specific name? Isn't this most specific name called a square? And this is called a rhombus. You just saw me do one of those. So this one's most specific name is a trapezoid. That's its best name. Okay, let's look at our last one together. It says, draw a quadrilateral with only 1 pair of parallel sides. List at least 2 other attributes. Okay, ready? So let's look here. Which one has only 1 pair of parallel sides? My square has 2. My rectangle has 2. My rhombus has 2. My parallelogram has 2. My trapezoid only has 1. So that's the only quadrilateral that has 1. So I'm going to try and draw one that looks similar to the one in my book. And here are our only 1 pair of parallel sides. Now these ones aren't parallel, friends, these sides, because look what's going to happen if they keep going. If they keep going, aren't they going to touch? Those 2 sides are going to end up touching. So those aren't parallel. Okay, they said list at least 2 other things. What else could we say about this? We could say it's a quadrilateral, right? It is a quadrilateral. We could definitely say that. We could say it has 4 sides. I think we could say it's closed. We only need 2, but there's 3 that we could say about it. Okay, boys and girls, keep studying your shapes and keep studying those attributes. You're going to need to have those memorized. Okay, have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.